Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Claudio, and we're
the
Hi
Guys.
With us today, we have Garrett and Damen. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
I'll go first. What's up, guys? I'm Damen Pardo. I doubt you know me, but it's really great to be here. I'm super excited because I love Legendary.
And I'm Garrett Ruiz. I'm just really excited to talk about the looks, talk about the hair, the wigs. So excited to talk about ballroom and how it relates to queer television.
Yeah. So as you guys can already tell, today we're going to be talking about Legendary. Legendary is a new original series on HBO Max. It is actually a competition show. The HBO Max, just so you all know, straight off the bat, there is a free trial for 7 days. But if you want to buy HBO Max, how much is it? It's like $14.99 a month.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive, but I know that they have. I think there's a deal with Disney Plus. Maybe.
I don't know about that, but there is a it's $14.99, but literally to watch this show, you can do it within the 7-day free trial.
It's a super good bingey watch, so you're not going to want to wait to watch it. But they also put the first episode out for most HBO Max shows on YouTube for free. You could go watch the first episode of Euphoria, and you can watch the first episode of Legendary. So it's super cool, super free. You don't even have to deal with a free trial to watch the first episode.
Yeah, get a taste and see if you want to watch it. But that's the show we're going to be talking about today. I'm super fucking excited. How about you guys?
I'm so excited.
So, God, and we've been out to get together, so I'm like, I just want to do this.
Well, first we're going to do our vibe check. So what this is we say how we're feeling, and then we're gonna talk about what you're vibing to lately. It could be a TV show, music, anything that's not of the topic that we're talking about. So Chris, how are you feeling today?
All right.
I'm feeling pretty darn well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What have you been vibing to lately?
I've been vibing to I watch this YouTube channel called Girlfriend Reviews, and they're very funny. I've just been really watching their Twitch streams and stuff. They make me laugh.
It's mostly the girlfriend that makes us laugh. Her name is Shelby, and she is
she's funny.
She's golden. She's hilarious.
What do they do?
It's a YouTube channel where the girlfriend reviews what it's like to live with a boyfriend that plays the game.
Oh,
so it's
I love that.
Backseat gaming and what it's like, and they make so many funny videos. They're pretty short. The longest I want to say is 10 minutes. It's just funny. It's literally just a good time.
Yeah, it's not even yeah, I'm the girlfriend who has a gamer boyfriend. It's no, I'm the girl who has a boyfriend who loves to game, and I like to watch him play because the stories and the animation and everything is just so good. It's cute.
I love that. That's how there's a market for everything, because if you can think it, you can do it.
Damen, how are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm good. It's been a stressful few days for so many reasons, but I am a TV addict. So I just finished watching Search Party, which is on HBO Max. Have you guys watched it? Because it is.
No, I really want to. I want to watch that, and I May Destroy You are both high on my list.
Oh yes, I keep seeing that one, and I'm yet to start it. But they look. HBO does some really good shows. It's totally worth the subscription. So I've been watching that. I finished that, which is it's so cool because it's a scathing love letter to millennial culture set to a murder mystery storyline. So it's brilliant. It's so and each season is it takes off. The first one, they're looking for someone. The next season deals with the murder, and then but it's they're continuations of each other. And so it I love that the season just totally takes a turn each season, and it's the same characters but a new facet of the story. It's so good. The characters are ridiculous. I think Garrett just finished watching it too. And now I'm I'm rewatching Drop Dead Diva, which I started yesterday.
You were getting into these shows. I want to watch all of them so bad. It's so hard because the quarantine has been so long now that when I'm just sitting at the TV, I'm what the fuck do I do with myself? You know? I try to get the inspiration to watch something, but I'm oh my God.
It's hard. I've come to terms with there is nothing wrong with just chilling.
Sometimes you gotta be okay with the silence.
Exactly, which is totally chill, and I totally have been. So I've been vibing. Like I have my shows, I have my stories, and I
love that
all freaking day and be happy.
Garrett, how are you feeling?
Yeah. Things have been a little stressful lately, but actually today feels really good. So
Nice.
I'm thankful for that. And then lately, because I was never really a television person, but then Damon's been getting me on like a bunch of shows. So I just finished Search Party.
Oh, nice.
And he suggested me to start Drop Dead Divas and starting that. And then for another thing I've been really doing is I've been replaying Friday the 13th on my Switch.
Yeah.
And that's been I used to love that game. And then there's still like an online community for it, so that's been really fun.
Yeah.
Dude, I am so bad at that game. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Like I downloaded it on PlayStation because they had like a free month for it.
Yeah.
I was so bad.
I was so sad because like this game had so much potential because they were going to do like a whole like Jason X expansion and have him as a killer and like a new map. But they got sued. They got sued by the creator of Friday the 13th, I think.
Oh my
god!
They
had to cease everything, so the game has not progressed in like years.
But like,
I also think it's so fun.
What an accomplishment to be sued by the creators,
right?
See, I'm like,
that's the dream.
That's the story I'll have my.
Oh my god,
that's been really fun. That's what I've been doing.
Have you ever played Dead by Daylight?
Okay, I was about to say I dropped $60 on Dead by Daylight. I played one game and I was like, I can't get into this. I don't understand the hype for it. Even though they did do the Silent Hill, which I appreciate it. I do like that a lot, but I can't get into it. I can't get into I don't understand it.
It's so confusing. It's so confusing.
Mm-hmm. It's so repetitive.
Yeah.
Boring.
But maybe that's what we like in this unstable world. Something we can expect.
Okay, but there's better repetition in other games. So.
You're so dumb. I can't stand you. Okay, so I'm the last one. I've been feeling good. Work just closed down again. Thank the fucking Lord. Because working in the mall is like too stressful during these times. And people would always walk around like the major part of the mall without a mask on. And until they got to a store and someone said, you have to have a mask on. And then they'd be like, oh, my bad. But like, oh my God, I was just so frustrated. And then I saw that like, who said that it could be passed through the air maybe. And I was like, stop. Yeah. And then 2 days later closed. And I was like, oh, thank bless.
That's stressful. I could not even deal. People are such assholes and so selfish.
Yes, especially at the mall.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I've been vibing to I cannot deny. I cannot stop listening to Chromatica, period.
Same.
Ooh, it'll hit me every other day. I'll just be like, you know what? I need to
You're like, my name isn't Alice, but I'm going to look for Wonderland.
Oh, the best track.
It's just so, like, it really picks you up, you know? It really lifts your mood.
It did when oh my God, Rain on Me came out that night. I was like, had my earphones in, played it, and I was like crying because I was like, this is what I need right now, but it makes me out with my friends, like dancing, and it's so like good and like upbeat, and so I was just like,
no,
I was like, oh my God,
feel you, dude. I cry so much, but I cry every time a Lady Gaga album comes out. Let's be honest, because I love her so much, and she's such an inspiration. But my favorite song to listen to is Babylon, and me and Chris love to say that's gossip because that part of the song was so like, Lady Gaga, did you just create like a phrase?
Yeah.
And so now anytime something's a little weird, you know, that's gossip.
Yeah, like Claudia's been playing Assassin's Creed because he's a bro. And he'll be like, oh, I just got this cool armor. And I'll just be like on the side, not paying attention, like, ooh, that's gossip.
I'm glad we're all feeling good.
We're all going to have a ball with today's discussion and the topic.
Oh my God.
It's a pun because we're talking about Legendary, which is a ballroom reality television show.
Do you want to get into the herstory, Chris?
Oh, I've always wanted to get into the herstory. Okay, guys, listen, ladies, gentlemen, and genderqueers. That's something that they say on the TV show, so you have to watch it. So we did a lot of research going in because we want to just know what we're going into. Because for me, like, I don't know a lot about LGBTQ history. Like, I know about Stonewall because it was a major turning point. But, like, there's a lot of other stuff that I just generally don't know about.
Because it's not taught in schools.
Yeah, and there's so much history to like the gay community and the queer community, and it's kind of been stigmatized that like only recently have people been gay, but like everyone's been gay for like ever. Like this isn't news. And
all people.
And what's interesting was that I found out that in like the late 1800s, they like found stuff that backed up the fact that they used to have like drag shows and cabarets and
old photos. They found
like
old
saloons.
Photos.
Yeah, and it was like for places that just like not only like bring people together but celebrate like their queerness, and they have like all these facts about that. But like no one ever talks about that, so it's like we have a history, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's so like mind opening. But ballroom, as we know it today, started during the Harlem Renaissance in 1920.
Resistance.
I'm sorry, I'm so high, and I'm trying to educate the community.
What it is.
Oh my God, the Harlem Resistance,
the Harlem Renaissance in 1920, and that's where we see our beginnings of ballroom. And it was founded by Black and Latino LGBTQ, and we see them using Vogue to battle for their house reputation. It's so wonderful.
I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah, dude.
Was like the beginnings of it and like coming into it. I figured maybe like late 60s, 70s.
Well, that's where
maybe.
like the ballroom came from. But the I guess the identity and feeling of ballroom, about it being a place to celebrate and be yourself, goes back before, which is so crazy to me.
Yeah. They only have that based on like pictures of different saloons and stuff that would have like drag queens and trans women, and it was just like that's how they, you know, were like, oh shit, this has been a thing. Like people come to a bar or like a safe space all together so that they could just be like open and be who they are. And that's it's so crazy to realize that this has been happening for so long, and probably even longer than that. I mean, like gay people somehow always end up finding each other, and we all like build a community with the people that we do find, because it's so hard to find someone who understands your struggles. So now ballroom culture has like so much to it. There is literally so much information. There are different categories. There are different names for like every single thing you have to hit in Vogue, like information. There's just literally so much information. But for the sake of the episode, we're just going to give like a brief summary of what you do need to know for this conversation, so that you're listening and you can like follow along and not be confused out of your fucking mind. First off, there are houses, and these houses are different voguing families. There is a house mother or a house father or a house both in between, who is the oldest of the family and watches over like all the children. They make sure to teach them like all the voguing rules, all the styles, all the different movements. Damon, do you want to talk about the categories?
Yeah, totally. The categories, they're all different dance styles. Some of them are like based off of fashion and runway walking. They do, for most of the dance styles, there's like hands, like you catwalk, you duck walk, there's floor performance, what else is there? There's spins and dips, dance section of them. There are other ones though that are like face and body, and you literally just walk and show off your face, your bone structure,
your teeth,
makeup, like even your teeth. Like I love that it's literally like they're just
they're like, look at how beautiful I am. Like, that's literally the category,
which is cool. I actually love those categories for the fact that it's like, one, that's a whole lot of bravery to walk out there and be like, I am the best, nicer face or body. But like, I love that this is part of ballroom culture, is like the validation of it. Like, yes, celebrate your body, celebrate like you. We loved. I mean, shade comes into play, and people like, you know, jokes are thrown and reads are thrown, but like it really is a celebration of like these people.
But its confidence speaks volume for those categories, because we saw like some, even like the quote unquote prettier person sometimes wouldn't win because of the confidence of the other competitors.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dude, and like something that we're probably going to talk about later, like when Pac Rat did her body performance, so inspirational, and it literally made me cry when Megan Thee Stallion was crying and telling her like, girl, you're beautiful. And I was like, oh my god, the amount of acceptance in the culture is like so fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's all about love, and that's what I love seeing in like when they would read each other, like go for each other, like they would go rough and then they would turn around out and everyone would
because it's like family, dude.
Exactly. I wish more artistic outlets had that same
camaraderie. Where, like, you can give off the bitch girl vibe, but like know that it comes from a place of love.
Yeah. Tip, you guys, I'm assuming you guys have watched Pose. If you guys
we were literally just talking about how we're gonna start watching it now.
I love that you guys went into Legendary first.
Well, first we watched Legendary, right? We watched like the first 2 episodes, and I was like, I'm sorry, I need to know more about this. And like during Pride, we watched a lot of documentaries about like Stonewall and everybody around it and everybody who was involved. And then we watched Legendary, and then I was like, okay, so stop. We have to watch Paris is Burning. And we watched Paris is Burning, and I was like, dude, this is like so much that I did not know about.
And there's another documentary that like follows people who were in Paris is Burning. Like they follow Willie Ninja, they follow Octavia St. Laurent, they follow some other like smaller features. But a lot of them, it's kind of like where they were, where their career went, and then kind of their stance on the documentary, because a lot of them were not happy with their portrayal on and had issues with the director.
I heard that they had to even sue the company for making it in order to get some type of payment.
I forget what it's called.
It's so crazy.
Oh, wow.
That's wild. Well, if anyone wants to watch all of these things, Paris is Burning is free on YouTube. The whole thing is on there. It used to be on Netflix, but it like disappeared.
I was so sad when it happened.
I was like, I wanted to watch that. It was on my list. What documentaries do you guys know that talks about like ballroom culture, and where can they find it?
Oh, so the one that I was talking about is called How Do I Look in 2006. That's the documentary. That's the Paris is Burning documentary.
And where did you watch it?
I haven't watched it yet. I'm not sure where it's at. But like, I was going down a YouTube rabbit hole, and there's a YouTube video about like life after Paris was Burning, and that's one of the documentaries that they feature.
That's still super cool. So find it for us, guys. Someone find it, send it to us so we can watch it.
But it's very important to watch those, because then you get like a real understanding of what it was like during the come up and like when they like started establishing houses. It is very cool and very informative.
Which I love that ballroom's been like making a comeback, because I mean, especially like with Pose and everything, but like in like 2000, like early, like 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, like I used to dance with the background dance for one of my friends, and we would like Vogue, and we would meet a bunch of Voguers, and it was like a thing back then.
That's cool.
And that was like,
that is so crazy.
Yeah, like that's when I like first started learning about it, and I like love that. Like even like in 2014, J-Lo has like a song called Ten's Room. Yeah, it's a really good song. It's her and Jack Mizrahi, who's one of the producers of Legendary.
God, I love that.
Yeah,
I didn't know really what ballroom was until watching like RuPaul, because I don't know. I recently binged the entirety of RuPaul's Drag Race because I never really watched it.
Oh my God.
I just knew of like who won because of social media. But during like the beginnings of quarantine, me and Chris like watched all of it.
Yeah.
We are caught up now. I am so excited about All Stars 5, about who's gonna win this shit. But from that show, I heard all these phrases, and I was like, why like do they repeat a lot of the same stuff? And then like RuPaul always says reading as known from Paris is Burning. And I was like, what is this? So when I watched Paris is Burning, I understood everything RuPaul like was saying. And then it like really connected me to like gay culture, you know, like binge watching Drag Race made me understand all the references that the people around me use and all the terms that they use.
When we found out who Miss Vanjie was, our lives were changed.
Oh my God.
That was the longest year of my life, when everyone would go, Miss Vanjie, out of nowhere. And I was I don't even know who you're talking about. But now I'm in on it.
Yeah, now I can say Miss Vanjie, but like with something behind it, you know?
Yeah. I remember in middle school, I think it was like 8th grade, season 3 just came out. So I was like watching that like secretly. And then Mariah Balenciaga was on that season. And I remember like the first episode, she talked about like how her roots were in ballroom circuit.
Yeah.
At the time, like I didn't understand what that was. I thought it was just maybe like, you know how they have like pageant people and then like ballroom. It was just like an umbrella term. I never knew what it was. That was like my first exposition to like ballroom.
I love that.
And now people have like this. Now people have like a major mainstream show to watch. And
that's
like,
what I think too. Like I feel like we have a selection now of like, you can do a drama through Pose, you can do a reality competition through Legendary, you can have a documentary through Paris is Burning.
Yeah, I was like, I was just so gagged that I was like so unaware of this part of our culture, because I feel like it should be talked about more. Like, what the fuck? These people are crazy. These people are legendary.
I love that you guys are discovering all these things, because especially like with language, people like the gays have been saying these words forever and never knew where they came from. And now that as they're learning, reading, gagging, gigging, you know,
realness,
like, all of these, and like as more and more people, like I love that it's becoming just like a used vernacular even beyond the gays. Some people should not use it. But
you bet your ass, if I have a child who ends up being gay, I'm gonna be like, listen, here's your history lesson right here and right now, so you know what shit's about. Because I was lost until I was 24.
And it's like, it's important to note that a lot of the stuff that we have does come from Latino and Black LGBTQ communities from the beginning. There was so much gay history built upon Black people. They've done so much. They've probably done like the most, which is so like inspiring, and it's great.
Yeah.
As far as media goes and the way we discuss things and vernaculars and fashion, everything, the gays, especially ethnic gays, have had their fingers in that for years, and we're finally getting for it.
All right, now we're going to get into the summary of the show.
So I might cover a couple things that we've already talked about, but this is just the summary. Legendary is an HBO Max original reality ballroom competition where 8 voguing houses use fashion, dance, and performance to slay the competition. The last house standing wins $100,000, which is the most from a ball yet.
Legendary is hosted by the ballroom icon, Dashaun Wesley. He is so good. When I was watching it today with my sisters, and they were like, if I were this guy, I would be so tired. And I was like, dude, but without him, nothing on that floor would feel the same. If he was not like popping off every second.
Every time they have like a Vogue battle, I told Damon, I just love when he like improv like raps kind of to like the beat.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
He's so talented.
I love that shit.
And also, Legendary has 4 resident judges, so there are 4 people who are like always there, and it's the star of The Good Place and activist Jamila Jamil. The ballroom legend Leomi Maldonado.
Love her.
She's so good. And stylist La Roche, and the rap icon Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh my god,
love her.
She's just fucking high.
She really is.
She was always putting her one leg over the seat of the chair.
Right.
She is big chilling.
When Ninja performed, she said, "Hiya, bitch." That's my mood.
Did you guys hear the news about Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah, because there were news reports about something else, and she had to like clear the air about what happened.
Yeah, because the police took her in a car to the emergency room, but people were saying that she was getting arrested.
It was TMZ. It was TMZ who said that.
So that's like the whole reason she had to like come out publicly and talk about it.
Because TMZ is full of stupid ass people, and they were just like, "Look at her, she got arrested."
The main producer of TMZ is actually a gay man that supports Trump.
He's Dustin.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I am so fucking dead.
If you guys, just side note, you guys should watch Kathy Griffin's new special. I think it's on Amazon Prime, I want to say.
Yes, of course.
You guys know who Kathy Griffin is? Which I totally forgot, because I used to like listen to her all the time when I was younger. Like, she's like a gay icon. Like, she's been an advocate for the gays. Like, all her comments pointed towards that. And so like the new special is all about how when she did like the Trump photo with,
never forget,
like severed head, government went after her, and so she like left the country for a while and did like a overseas tour and like came back, and it's like a documentary about that because it's like crazy. But then it's like her comedy special. And where was I going with this?
Harvey, the TMZ.
Oh yeah, the guy from TMZ. She does like a whole bit about him, and because he, like, TMZ is the one who released the picture of her with like holding the severed head, and they like spun it negatively, and like basically he's been like this whole past 4 years he's basically been like Trump's publicist.
My absolute fuck. That is so stupid. Anyway, fuck that guy.
What a transition.
You just gotta leave a little button, you know. Sorry. That's my version of speaking of a cookie, I want one.
Right. I love
she
that.
Said, that reminds me, I want a cookie.
That reminds me, fuck that guy.
Yes.
Okay, so for a show like this, it's kind of hard to pick out like the goods, the bads, like how we did with Love Victor, which was like highlighting the writing and acting. So like there isn't really a way to do that for a competition show, but I would like for us to speak about like what sets it apart, because I guess that's the good version of like a competition show like this. How is this not a regular dance show? Anyone can start.
Yes.
I think one of my favorite things is just kind of like the variety of it. How like one episode it would be just one floor performance, and then the next episode it was like 5 categories like face, body, Vogue. My favorite episodes were the ones that like emphasized the looks. Like the Wild Wild West episode was so good, and the fairy tale ball was really good too.
Speaking of the Wild Wild West ball, can we talk about Delicious having those little spinners on her fucking boobs? And that was her, like that was her part of doing the like what it has to have a twirl in it or something. Yeah.
It has to have a wheel or something. Or turn to a spin. Yeah,
and she put little wind things on her fucking tits, and they didn't even move on their own. She had to move them. I was so fucking mad.
But can we talk about Twilight's hat gown?
Oh, yes, we can always talk about Twilight's hat gown.
The reveal.
I was not a whole season, but that one moment,
that took 10 gallons. Oh my god.
Is that hat a gown? Is your hat a gown? I was like dead.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. Like stuff like that really does help set it apart from other dance competition shows, because there are so many categories in ballroom.
Yeah, it's as far as like a dance competition goes, this was a really different one for the fact that not everything was always executed like beautifully. Yeah. You know, like they did group numbers. Not everybody was on, because they're not like dancers, like dancers. They're voguers, and like they do the different categories. And I think like people, especially with ballroom, they think, oh, it's voguing, like, you know, but they're doing it and seeing all of that, because this is like this competition covers everything from fashion to dance, and it's like no other competition does that.
It's so unlike anything else, and that's why I love it. Like it's so entertaining. I was always like, I wonder what's gonna happen this episode. Like I wonder what the name of the ball is. I wonder what like they're gonna be competing in. I was always so excited.
Yeah, I especially like, I think it was like around episode 6, like from then on it got really like Ike and saying shit, like they were just kind of like talking back to each other. Like a lot of that didn't happen in the first few episodes, and then all of a sudden everyone was coming for each other.
It all happened when they had that one guest judge who was like, I am, and I am,
Dominique.
Blam, 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 blam.
Oh, just wait till you guys watch Pose. It'll be amazing.
He's one of the main characters, and but like I think everyone, you could kind of tell like all the ballroom people were like trying to keep it professional, I guess. And then once that happened, they were like, "Oh, that's right."
Right. She could not sit in her seat. He had to tell her to sit down so many times.
Yeah,
which I love energy, her up and down, and like that was ballroom. Like, you know,
way that she spoke, like she was the queen of the room, was like so stunning to watch. That's why like I was kind of annoyed, but I was mostly entertained. She was so elegant in the way that she said things. You know what I mean?
I feel like you can also see that in like Laomi when she talks sometimes. I just feel like that's also very like a characteristic of like just ballroom and just like speaking and like performing.
It's so good. It's so fun to watch them speak.
I was gonna say, even LaRoche, even though he's not like a ballroom, none of them really are ballroom people other than Laomi, but like he still had that energy, like, you know, the sass, the wit, the negativity. Oh my god,
when he told everyone like, you could boo all you want, but I'm still gonna cash this check, I was like
And one thing that I loved that I feel like sets it apart from like normal reality TV or competition TV is how beautifully the stories were told for not only the houses, but for some of like the individuals, like some of the children in the houses, and how well told their stories were alongside the house as a whole. I thought was beautifully done.
I have an issue with like competition TV. I hate when people cry. Like I can't. Like, this is not why we're here. We're on stage and sing. Like, Drag Race when people cry, it bothers me. Like I'm like, I don't want to see this. It's a competition. And so I have like my qualms no matter what show it is, but I like that they do like they showed them as like it was part documentary about these people, part actually like like the competition.
Yeah, and I feel like because it is like their family, like especially like when they're about like when it was like the duel, the bottom two, and they're waiting to get eliminated, just like how emotional they were because like that is like their family.
Oh my god, yeah. Like the most iconic one was I hope we can all agree, Shorty and Michaela was the craziest Vogue ever.
Is that the one where she ran up the wall?
No,
god.
That one was a different one. Okay. This one was the one where when Michaela ran to her family and she like leaned back and
I remember that.
They all pushed her back onto the stage.
That was so good.
Shorty was like
isn't
going all out like he never had before and was like doing stunts and shit. And it made everyone cry.
I love it. It's so good. Wait, was that the same one? Because what's her name? Michaela doing her like backflips and flips in those like fucking 7-inch pleasers.
Before she started, she said something like, I'm gonna defend my family, but can I get my fucking heels? I was like, ooh girl.
I was like, that shit's insane. Like to be able to like tumble like that in those shoes, like
I know.
And she climbed in them.
Yeah, Michaela was a demon.
I loved her. I literally gasped, gagged, and stood up when she climbed on the wall. I can't sit during this. Like what?
But she has attitude though, because I don't know if you guys noticed it, but at the end of the last episode when they announced the winner, like she walked
really off. Spoiler warning for the last episode. If anyone truly cares about being spoiled, or if spoiling helps you want to watch it.
Oh, okay. No, it's just seeing that was like whoa, because she like you could hear her like yelling something off stage, and she like I was like
I was like okay, pop off.
The whole last episode was actually like really well shot, like the way that they did like telling like the whole COVID story. How it like they ended up doing the ball, they were gonna do it, and then Naomi and Dashaun's tango.
Oh my god.
Together.
Yeah,
like my.
Let's talk about that, because this show felt like such, as any show does, especially during like these crazy times, felt like such a good escape from reality.
Yeah.
But then I was like so thrown back into reality in the final episode. So for the people listening, the final episode was filming during the beginnings of all this COVID-19 stuff, and states and whatnot were starting to lock down.
Yeah, they were in New York, I think. Yeah, the show's filmed in New York, so they were there.
And so they couldn't have an audience. And it was so I get choked up even thinking about it. Like it honestly like shook me to my core to be reminded of like the situation that we're in.
Yeah.
And that we're probably not gonna get any new entertainment except for like maybe animated stuff because it takes so long to edit for like a while.
That's being the weird part. Even like seeing like the writers of Pose were actually I was reading an article about it, how they're like before everything started shutting down again, they were like, well, we're rewriting the scripts so that like people aren't close as like on top of each other as there usually are, like we're gonna have to take out kissing. And I'm like, to think that like that's like the type of media we're gonna get is where like you don't see these things, and that much more cautious is like it's stressful and reminding of the time we're in.
But those competitors and everyone a part of the show, they did their all for that final episode. Even if there wasn't a person in the audience, they performed like there was.
They really did.
Yeah, they went all out, and I think it also helped them because it seems like in the last episode they did like a different shots, so it helped them where the cameras could be different places than they usually are because there's not a bunch of people, so they shoot it like they can shoot it better. And I'm like that, so I was like, I'm glad they did that just to like make up.
With like with Megan's like music video too, her little performance.
Oh my god, when Chise was there dancing.
Love Chise. Chise was the star of the show. She came out of the show.
I follow Chise on every social media.
Too.
I am a Chise fanatic. I love her so much.
Here, let's talk about everyone's favorite house. Who's everyone's favorite house? Damon?
Ninja?
Oh no, I actually wasn't a Ninja fan. I feel like they had like one girl that like pretty much carried their whole team as far as they went.
Yeah.
So, but I do feel like, I don't know, I really liked I do really like Balmain because I do think that they have a lot of original ideas. They have really, and like Jamari, the house dad, like he performs more than any of the other parents, but to not self out there a lot more. So I think them. I actually think as far as like the houses that were in the finale, like I'm glad that they took it because they're my only
thing with the House of Balmain is that during the episode where Ninja was in the bottom two for the last time, I felt like Balmain should have also been there. I feel like those two houses should have gone against each other because Balmain's performance for the intergalactic ball was like so lackluster. It was insane to me that they did not go against each other. And he even said it himself in the next episode. He even Jamari himself said it should have been the two of us. And
there was some questionable judging.
Yeah, I'll say that because I don't think Saint Laurent should have gone home as early as
that broke my heart. For being such an iconic house to go home so early in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, but who's your favorite house?
It was Saint Laurent initially, just because I feel like they would have brought so many looks to each ball. Because I feel like no one's talking about their three fab mice look.
Yeah,
with their little like fencing outfit. That was so good.
It was so good, and they were mad too. They were pissed off.
They were, but. After them, it was Ninja. I was rooting for Ninja.
Yes.
And those are your two?
Yeah, those are my two.
Okay. For me, my favorite, it's so hard because I feel like the show really focused on specific people. It's like they were kind of filtering who they wanted you to enjoy. The same way that people will say that Drag Race does that to villainize people.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They
so for the longest time, I forgot that London was the father of Escada because Twilight spoke so much. You know what I mean?
I didn't realize he was until the last episode.
Yeah, that's my whole thing was like, I felt like the show was trying to filter feed me the personalities of each house so that I can like specific people from there.
It was like the moment where they had like the Last Supper and he was sitting in the center and I was like, oh, that's the father of.
Yeah,
God, I didn't even know that.
Because like Twilight just outshines everyone. Twilight is such a personality, and that you would think that was the father, but not. Yeah. It's like London who keeps to himself. Anyway, my favorite house, though, even though I felt like they were being force fed to me, was the House of Landon. I love them all so much, but I feel like I got so much backstory of every single one of them, and not as much for like some of the other houses.
For sure. Yeah, they definitely like put them out there a lot, especially Erica. She was in every episode. Had something to say.
It's like she was better for their entertainment narrative. But like on the other side of that, for a reason, honey. Because they are so good. I love them so much, but nothing turned me onto them more than in the first episode when they introduced their houses and Erica stood there in her all red outfit and did her fucking like hand thing where she looked like she jerked in motion. And then Michaela did like a front flip off of people. I was like, oh my God. I was gagged from day one. Yes. And they continued to gag me.
Yeah, they were strong.
They had a lot of, even Carlos, like he was their like Voguer, and his
mummy look, really good, his all red mummy look.
So cute.
It was so good. And his Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't know why you like kind of look even hotter now. Hello.
That look definitely worked for him. Although I did want Gravity to win that.
Me too.
Battle.
I feel like in terms of like choreography, it was like Chisa and Gravity that came out of the show. Like their careers kind of boosted a little bit.
Yeah, because Gravity's all over social media.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I felt like they were also fed to me. Like other people from the House of Ninja can't really tell you much about them. I know their names, but I don't know much about them. Like all that really stood out was the episode when they left and they explained Sharon's story about how she started ballroom like in her country in Taiwan. And I'm like, finally, you're giving me information about other people from the House of Ninja.
I know. I think the last episode they were on, me and Garrett were sitting right there, and he was like, I don't know who that one is, and I don't know who that one is. And I was like, same. There was like,
can we talk about Chisa in the Remember the Times when she wanted like Dolores' features and she was like, I want a big nose like her.
Oh my
and
god,
they put a prosthetic nose on her.
Oh, so dead.
Didn't know how to respond.
Okay, but if you had to pick your least favorite house, who is it and why?
I'm gonna say West, just because for me they weren't there that long, so it's easier for me to say that they are like my least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
They also, for me, were the least memorable out of everyone. I feel like that might be because they left so early.
I was kind of excited for them because I thought West was gonna bring like kind of like the club kid to like ballroom. Mm-hmm. Just by their like first outfits with like all the plaid. I was like really excited for the House of West.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's the one that's in the title sequence. Which can we say this is the best title sequence on any competition show?
It was really good.
Oh my god, it is so cinematic and it is so beautiful how it shows off every single house with like a color scheme. Like primary colors are key, but that title sequence gets me every time. I'm so hyped, I'm so ready. I'm like, yes, I do want to be a legend. I want to be a statement.
Yes.
You want to be a star.
Right.
Yeah. We're like sitting there like the screen's loading and we're just like in our seats, like waiting for it to start.
I love that because it gets you like hyped for the ballroom and like the show.
Yeah.
By the time it's over, I've like followed into like the ghetto gay. And I'm like, yeah.
Yes, but what tripped me out was Chris and I were watching Viceland YouTube about they did like a little thing for ballroom.
Ooh.
Somebody went into the definitions of like your status in a category. I believe you're a star means like you're just up there, like you're a princess, you know? And then you're a statement, then you're an icon, and then you're a legend. And if you're a legend in a category, that means when they think that category, they think of you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Erica said, I'm face legendary. Yeah, because I believe it. I believe that bitch has gone to many balls.
I can see her face from here.
Yeah, she's a big bitch. I was like, whoa.
That's another thing I loved about her was like how much of a presence she was.
I would have just stood there and just kind of flipped my arms.
That's what she really just poses. She really just poses as her house does everything. And but that's what I like about her so much. Like Law said it perfectly. When she comes out on stage, you know she's the mother. And sometimes the parents of the house like blend into the background, but she never did.
Even Jamari blended into the background. They all kind of did it.
But Erica was always like definitive. Like you always knew.
You know who I didn't like? I did not like Gorgeous House Scooch.
That's what I was going to say. They were busted.
I do not think, one, that they should have gone so far. I do love Jarrell because I think he's fucking sexy. Who doesn't? That body is crazy.
He was body and face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they were so disconnected in the beginning. Like you could just tell. And then when their team member left, I was like, okay, so you should leave this next episode because you were already a mess. And you're like even more a mess without someone.
No, that's why I was like, their whole house, I feel like they were led on. Which I'm like, how many other houses are there out there? Because I mean, there's obviously going to be a season 2. But like this house got on. And I'm like, I really don't feel that they were up.
And that's gossip, honestly.
But like for like houses that could be in season 2, I feel like we already got a taste of like some that could, like when they had members of Balenciaga and 007 for the as the supervillains.
Oh, I actually learned something about 007. So when you are House 007, that means they are not part of a house. They are their own house.
Ooh.
They are independent contractors. They are 007s. When they compete in ballrooms, in balls, they represent themselves.
Oh, wow. That'd be interesting.
So if you guys want to find this shit, we found it like a lot of that on Viceland. Like they did like 2 episodes, I think, of just following people around in the current ballroom scene.
Yeah, I think her name is Tati. And the videos are called, like the series that they did is called My House, and it's about her and like her story and how she became like a 007 and stuff,
and that she has invites all the time to join houses, but the 007s don't do it because they don't feel like they belong with anyone and they just want to be themselves,
which is dope. I think there should be that. I mean, that's how like the houses, and they're like everyone has like a drag mother, and I'm like, some people just want to do their own thing. Oh my god, you guys, I have to pee.
Go we can break Do you want to hear my drag name if Damen puts me in drag for the first time? It's going to be Poison Ivory. Because she's Harley Sin.
I love that.
I'm good at this. Yeah.
Poison Ivory.
Harley Sin, Poison Ivory coming at you. We're going to rob the bank and then rob your heart.
Oh. Okay, what were we talking about? Oh, yes, we were talking about least favorite houses. And now we're going to switch to the fashion, the balls, the themes.
I feel like the episodes that really like were fashion heavy that I really enjoyed were like the Wild Wild West and the fairy tale ball. And like I always think about like production side, like there were times where I was like critical and I was like, oh, that kind of looks a little dust and all that, but I'm like also kind of empathizing with like, could you imagine trying to dress these amount of people in the span of maybe like I don't even know how long the episodes were from each other. Yeah, and that's how I think about like wigs too, because I would always be like, whenever me and Damon would watch, I'd be like, ooh, that's a bad shake and go, that's a bad shake and go. But then I always think I'm like, they're going to be like dancing in these and like trying to provide wigs for all these people.
For those of you that know what a shake and go wig is, it's a wig that you pull straight out of the package, you shake it out,
and you go.
And you go.
Really?
Yeah, that's why they're called.
I'm gagged.
Education.
Thanks for the vocabulary.
Oh my god.
Welcome.
But that,
like when we first met, like I introduced him to like wigs and braids and like all the different like there's so much like wiggetry here in the valley and love it.
Can we talk about Laomi's hairstylist? How she popped up so many episodes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh my god.
So when they said that Laomi is an icon and a legend in Vogue, I was like, okay, I believe you, because like I don't know. But as the show went on, I was like, bitch, I believe you. What a queen! Every look was so wildly different and so uniquely her.
The episode with like the afros, and then when it went into the intergalactic ball with the chain ponytail, that one.
Oh my god, the chain ponytail!
My life was ended. My life was ended with that hair.
A magician's dream. It was beautiful.
And then the whole like mollusk like swirl for the under the sea ball, and then the heaven and hell with that like white rooted like 80s blown back.
Yes.
I love that one so much.
My god. I'm so happy that she's a part of the show. Like I would watch her do anything. Especially in the finale episode at the beginning when they did that special performance of just Laomi and Dashaun. I was like,
Laomi's an icon.
That was a moment because that's like they took tango, mixed it with Vogue, and that was like a number. Like that was.
And when she said that she created a move, the 360 dip, I was like, what?
Yeah. And she called them out for not landing it.
That's such
I was like, I'm dead. And then she did it in that performance, and I was like, I'm dead.
Oh, I forgot her Cleopatra look too. With that little bob, the frizzy bob.
Yes. My favorite thing about Laomi though is that she now has me and Chris like clicking our nails everywhere we go.
Whenever, oh my god, with the two fingers with her thumb.
Yes.
The thumb and the middle finger just going.
Click, click. Wait, Chris, can you put it in the microphone? Didn't you perfect it?
You can. It sounds like
you hear it?
Yeah.
Yes, queen.
Like ever so faint.
So funny. But yeah, after, like watching a few episodes, like I was like, oh my god, that is so fun. And like what another cool thing that they do in ballroom culture that I did not know about.
I didn't realize either that Laomi's in Pose. She plays like a very minor character, but she like vogues in Pose both seasons.
Oh, cool.
What?
Yeah. Dashaun's in it too.
He's in the second season.
I can't wait to watch it.
Again, with the fashion, besides Laomi, Megan Thee Stallion came stunting every time. I was like, what?
Her little Red Riding Hood look.
She's
so good.
It was so good when she pulled out her basket and her apple. I was like, yes, girl.
Even though I don't understand the apple.
Yeah, I was also like, that's stupid, but it's cute.
It was Megan Thee Stallion.
That fucking Catwoman one.
Yes, it did.
Talk about it, Damon. Gossip about it.
Well, I hadn't actually seen the episode yet when I saw the picture of it, and I was like, I loved it. Mainly, and a lot of those superhero outfits were kind of tacky, but that one was, like so. And nobody's done that yet. Nobody's done like a white Catwoman with the black stitching. So I was like,
and tell the fans which Catwoman it was.
Oh, it was the Michelle Pfeiffer Batman Returns, 1992.
Yes,
maybe 1991. Yeah, but
it was so good. Because you're right, Damon. Like, I've never even thought of like someone inverting the colors like that.
And her hair, her long black hair, was like, yes.
She was so iconic.
Jamila had some really good looks too, especially the Remember the Times with that huge beaded gown. So
yeah, some of her, she had cute looks, but a lot of them were just like, it's like cute, like her ringleader look. I was like, oh well, that's a given. You could have done more with it. I love that she's there just to have fun. Like she's just like,
she's so fun. But what's crazy to me is that she got so much backlash for being on that show.
Well, I have all the tea if you want to hear it.
Yes,
we do.
So a press release came out before Legendary, and about who was going to be a part of the judging panel and the MC, and there was a mishap, and they put Jamila's name as the MC, and so that was the initial thing that everyone was like, "Why is she the MC? The MC is such a huge part of ballroom culture. That's not like right." And then they came out with a statement that they like messed up because she was only supposed to be like a judge, and that Dashaun was going to be the MC. And Dashaun has been on the project for like 2 years, and so, but then people were still saying like, why is she a part of it still? Like, she's not queer, she's not like a part of ballroom. And then that's when she came out. Remember the whole thing about her coming out as queer? That's when that happened, because she was like, I am a part of the culture. And then people were still like angry, but if you guys watch it now, if you were part of that community that was mad, she is, from what I've read and what I've experienced, she is more of the people who have never been exposed to ballroom before. She is that type of and you see her grow in every episode, because you learn so much in every episode, and they educate you so well that you see like her grow and learn and understand what ballroom truly is. It isn't like having fun, like it's like she's learning the culture, you know?
Yeah, not only her, like Megan did too. And Megan, when she, like, as it went on, she did have more to say. Although sometimes like Megan was very like vague, like what she wanted to see. But like you could see her eyes, like she got so much more passionate about it. And then in that final episode when she performed, and they had she included like some of the dancers. That was so. I don't know. It was like, it felt a little life-changing for me, because it was like watching a mainstream rapper actually be so involved in like the gay community, to the point where she had Voguers dancing behind her as she did Savage. Like it was, it really warmed my heart. It was crazy.
That was one thing where like I was one of the people who was kind of upset with the judging, because I think I remember telling David one time, I was like, oh, I don't think they're really qualified. I wish they like put more judges who knew about it. And then like Laomi spoke on Twitter like defending Jamila and Megan, and then it was like, the last episode Megan said like, coming into this, I didn't know anything about ball, but you guys really made me do my homework and like embrace it. And that's where kind of like I really do appreciate the judges that we had.
Yeah, I think Jamila, who everyone's like so mad about it and like into like forcing her to come out so that she had the qualifications to be there, but like she's also one of the executive producers of the show, so she was obviously there like pushing for this to happen.
She had stated that like one of the reasons she came on it was to help it get off the ground, because nobody was buying it. Like they were like had this order for it, but no one was buying it until HBO bought it.
Yeah, which is great. And even like LaRoche, who's fashion but isn't part of the ballroom code. None of them, other than Laomi, are like actual like ballroom people. Other than I think, who was it, Dominique, and they said what, Kelly has judged balls before. Which is
honestly, when she showed up, I was like, "Why are you here?"
I think it was even Naomi said on Twitter, like, oh, you guys don't want people from Ballroom here judging. They're mean and they're just like, they're not fun. Like, they're just like ruthless bitches. Like, this is, you guys don't even understand what Ballroom is.
Halfway through the first episode, I looked at Chris and I said, I am not only so moved emotionally by like this being a show, but I can't believe this is my first time seeing a judge panel that is not predominantly white.
Yeah.
There is not a single white person on that guest panel. Like,
yeah. And that really, which I love. Megan, like, people are bitching, but I'm like, dude, they took like a rapper, like a fashion icon, like somebody that's known by the mainstream, and then an actual ballroom legend, and they're all of color, and they'll bring people to watch the show because they have their own following.
Yeah, which is so crazy to think about. Like, I'm just, I can't believe it's took so long to see a show like this. But these people, I feel like, have more to say because they know the struggles and they know what it means to break out of like the shadow that is always cast on you.
Yeah, especially Naomi, because she would get emotional so much with things, be like inspired, and like she would tell them like, I'm so proud of you for being here, for doing this for the mainstream, and I'm like, yes, bitch.
Yeah, like when she got emotional after Michaela and Shorty's battle, and when she said that stuff about like, thank you so much for showing the world what it means to be in ballroom and to show them like how hard we work.
Oh, sorry. There's something I told Damon, and I was like, it sounds like weird, but like I really think like there's parts of like TikTok now with like all the kids doing their like, have you seen those like what I'd wear videos? And it's like it's like unintentionally like their form of like drawing from ballroom, like when they're like, oh, what I'd wear in these situations or what I'd wear from these shows if I was cast in these shows. And it's very like when ballroom used to be like they said in Paris is Burning, they used to walk categories of like Dynasty, like acting as if you were like a cast member of Dynasty.
Yeah.
That's where I was like kind of drawing relations to ballroom and now what we know of like TikTok and like learning all these like trending dances.
There's even a trend on TikTok for Legendary.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I saw like just random queens. Like there was this drag queen on Twitter who did it, and like she's the drag queen in ballroom. Like she doesn't do the drag scene. She doesn't perform in bars. Like she just performs with her house. And she like it was like hashtag Legendary or something like that. I can't remember it, but it was a trend on TikTok, and like there are different people doing it. And even some of the people from the show are like showing like quick little like informational things. It's so cool.
Gravity Balmain is doing like Vogue classes online, and he has like a bunch of TikToks learning how to like duck walk and Vogue and do arms and all that.
That's so cool.
It just like really speaks to how this one show can help push them forward into the mainstream.
I mean, especially like giving the actual people who are ballroom a platform, because I mean, you have Pose, you've seen Paris is Burning. I mean, voguing has been stolen by Madonna, and like she made it famous, but like the people that are actually part of the ballroom scene getting to be seen is like, this is really one of like the first times that they're front and center.
I'm just like so happy it's a thing. And I'm so happy that they got picked up for a second season, because that's what I was afraid of. I was like, if it was so hard to sell it in the first place, like what's gonna happen when the show's like done?
And it does. I mean, I haven't seen, for all the gays I have on my Facebook and social media, it's like I haven't seen a lot of people posting.
Yeah, they really haven't.
And that's why I wanted to do this. I was like, people need to know that this is a thing. This is a fucking thing. It is good. It is inspirational, and it shows you a side of gay history that we like are not constantly shown.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's so charismatic and it's so much fun. And I think it's just good TV. It's like good, wholesome TV. If you like reality shows or competitions, it's perfect. Like it has everything.
It's a very it's an easy gateway to ballroom.
I do have to say, one of my favorite moments was there was an episode where like La Roche and what's her name, Naomi, were like fighting.
Which time?
Yeah.
Which time?
It was the episode for the superhero ball, because then in the superhero ball, LaRoche came out with like that. It was like the suit that had.
I too am an icon.
And on the because the week before, Liam, I'm an icon in this, and I was like, yes. I was like, the shade.
Yeah, dude, I was gooped. I was gooped that happened.
Dude, it was so funny. I just love, especially the judges. The judges are so active in the show.
Oh my god! When Jarrell came out in a beard, and after he left the stage, Leobi went to Megan and went, "Friend, I'd wife him with that beard, though." I was like, yes, I love that you guys are all friends. So like you always like all talk to each other, even if you are like petty to each other sometime.
Who was? Oh, was it Jamari that had the tearaway? Like it went from his like for the superhero show, he had the tearaway where it was like a suit and they tear it away, and then he had like the blue
that was Jamari.
Yeah,
that was my favorite of the reveals. Like,
oh my god, yeah, that one was really good because of the thing. How he said it was like a tribute to Ninja.
Oh.
Damn. Well, I feel like we talked a lot. About this show, but there's so much to say.
There is so much.
I think what we should lead to now is like, if people don't have reason enough from what we've said to watch the show, what exactly would you tell someone is the major reason why they should watch it?
I would say it's just like, it's really just like a powerhouse of like creativity. Like from any medium of like dance, art, performance, fashion, attitude. It's just like a really great showcase of all that.
Yeah, especially in this time where we are advocating so hard for people of color, that this show not only like embodies people of color and shows them off in such great light, but it also gives them like history, and it shows that like people of color have been here and are connected to so many different industries, and like we've built so much, and like now that it's barely coming to light, like this is something that we should be promoting, because this is great material for people who are like, how do I figure out and learn more about the culture?
Definitely.
I would say a great reason to watch is the amount of entertainment you're going to get from it is the same amount of education you're going to get from it, even without like knowing that you're learning, because you'll have to learn all of these things in order to like properly watch the competition and understand why judges say what they say. But like you just walk away with a whole new understanding of like people's stories and just ballroom culture.
When we first started watching it, I was very excited, and I knew some of the terms, but I was like nervous that I was just going to be lost the whole time. But I was so pleased to see that each time they announce a category and they're about to go into it, each house gets to explain their idea of the category and what they're going to bring to it.
Yeah.
And I felt like I learned so much of the terminology, but I never felt like I was being talked down to, or like they were talking to me like I was dumb.
Yeah, I love that they explained, because like when they did like the old school versus new school style, or like the difference in arms versus hands, and how like, you know, it's poses and stretching, and as opposed to like what your wrists and your hands can do. Like there's so many like little like pieces to it, and I love that they will like tell you what it is, and then like give you their interpretation, and then you would get
that was one thing that like when Gravity wasn't in arms, I turned to Damon and I was like, why wouldn't they push him in that? Isn't he like hands and all that? And then Damon like explained the difference of like the stretch of the arm and all that.
It's crazy. I love how much they put into the craft of it. Like even that is a testament to it, like how different things are and all the categories they have. They're creative people, and they make up a category for so much.
Yeah. I mean, even like the spins and dips category, where it's like, it's them literally like spinning in a circle and shablamming and like, you know, like rolling back over themselves and like dipping. Like they're really get on top of each other, because that's how real ballroom is. If you like watch videos on YouTube, they're in spaces and they're like there's a crowd all around them, and people will literally like while you're dancing like have their hands above you, and when you shablam, like they'll like go with you, and it's like this whole energy push of like everyone with their arms being like yeah, and then like pull you back up.
Those are all the reasons that we think you guys should watch this show, because Legendary is legendary.
Yeah.
And to quote someone from the show, this show did what needed to be done.
To be done.
Oh my god. It did.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's like everything, unless you guys have any final things you want to say about the show.
No, I think we covered it and covered all my favorite things.
There's a lot of favorites for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is just going to be a little opportunity for you guys to say, your tags, where people can find you, what you're doing right now during COVID, and what you're planning on doing in the future. Whatever you guys want to say for yourselves. Your little send off.
All right. For those of you that don't know, I have a podcast called Reading the Room. It's not a weekly show. It's more like a journalistic take on podcasts. So the stories are edited and I do interviews. The next one will be coming out soon, and that one's going to pretty much be like a retrospective of like June and July and all the things that have happened from COVID to the reopening and the shutting back down. It does focus on theater a lot, so we do a lot of those talks. I've gone to a few talkbacks and things and seeing how people from the Valley are trying to progress the theater scene here now. So yeah, that's what the next one's going to be.
I'm so excited to listen to that.
I love that.
It'll be real good. For me, I've mainly just been working on wig commissions through like drag and burlesque here in Fresno. You can find me on Instagram. You could where I post my wigs is Ghastly Wig Co. That's gonna be on Instagram.
And his wigs are crazy.
Yeah, literally, I think about buying them just to have them like in my room.
Garrett, let me tell you right now,
you.
Garrett. I am slapping my middle finger to my thumb, letting you know your wigs are crazy, and I am wagging my finger in the air at how crazy they are because they are good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All I've been thinking is like when I do go bald, because I am going bald for sure. I'm going to be buying crazy ass wigs because that is going to be my new life.
I'll be here. I'll be here for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, all right, guys. This has been the Hi Guys. Special thank you to our guest judges. To our guest judges. To our guests of the show.
Thank you guys for listening. Follow us on social media.
Yes.
All right,
okay, I guess now
we're the goodbye
Goodbye, guys.
Bye.